You know, I feel like Marvel is about to flip the script, and we don't know until we watch Endgame. So everything that we watch, we have to think, okay, this may be the opposite of what is actually going on, and what are they doing here? How are they messing with us? This film is the first film of their next phase. It's not going to be a prequel. There's no way they're going back before Endgame and telling this movie. So this universe is going to be different and not like the other ones that we've seen in 22 films.
All right, I want to get this. It's January 15th, and Eric Davis saying there's no way that Spider-Man Far From Home is a prequel. Not a prequel to Homecoming, but we're talking about a prequel to Avengers Infinity War / Endgame, because I watched a lot of trailer breakdowns. I usually avoid that kind of stuff. Like if I see a trailer, I watch it once, maybe twice if I really loved it, and then I try to get away from it. But I saw so many things in there, and I was like, I like this trailer. It's a good trailer. But the passport thing, you don't see a date on the passport ever. And so I do find myself wondering, could this actually just be a movie that they fit in between Avengers Infinity War? Maybe not the whole movie, but some of it. Haley, are you as sure as Eric is that this is not going to be a prequel?
I think it's probably a little A, a little B. I think maybe some of what we're seeing, especially in the trailer, takes place before Infinity War, and then maybe there's a portion of the film that takes place afterwards. What I am absolutely in agreement with is that there's no way they're kicking off the next phase by looking backwards entirely. At some point, this movie is going to point towards the future. It's
going to point towards the future, I think, eventually, and it is just the first look. It's a trailer. It's 2 minutes, and I think that I really took to heart what Kevin Feige had said about the Avengers Endgame promotional material, where he said that there's a good chance we're just seeing the first 15 to 20 minutes of that entire movie. Yeah. Maybe that's Marvel's MO going forward, because they are Marvel. We see all these characters we love. We get to see Spider-Man. We see Nick Fury, this new mysterious person with Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. What more do we need to see? We saw Marissa Tomei. What do we need to see to pay money to see this movie? So I think that a good chunk of this movie could take place before Endgame, and then the rest of it takes place afterwards. I don't know how they would do that in the movie, but you got to admit, it'd be interesting, and I wonder if part of that reason is why Jake Gyllenhaal, an actor of his caliber, decided to finally say, you know what, I'm going to jump into these superhero waters. If it's a storyline or it's a character that so intrigued him that was different from the norm, maybe kind of like what Joaquin Phoenix is doing right now with the Joker movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see some of it maybe taking place before Avengers Endgame, but I don't know. I feel like Marvel is playing tricks on us. And yeah, it looks like all first act stuff. I mean, the whole Mysterio situation in the trailer looks like it's his first appearance, and they're seeing him for the first time. So I think everything we're seeing in that trailer is the first act. So it could theoretically take place before Endgame, and then maybe there's a big sort of reality switch in Endgame that they bring into Far From Home to show you how it affects those characters, and maybe everything switches the other way. So maybe Mysterio starts off good, and then the events of Avengers Endgame happen, and it flips it back, and now he's bad. Could be something like that.
There is something to be said for this being a Sony Marvel co-production, though, right? Yeah. Because watching this trailer, it felt like this was Sony's movie that they're selling. Like, hey, look, Spider-Man's back. This was not a, ooh, is Spider-Man going to show up in his own movie? Like, I think the way that Marvel probably would have done it. So did you feel more of the Sony or more of the MCU touch with this trailer, Haley?
I think it's both. Again, not to always say it's a little A, it's a little B, but I do. I remember I was on the show and we were talking about, we were placing bets, would we see Spider-Man? And I said, absolutely. There's no way Sony markets their next Spider-Man movie without him, because you feel the Marvel touch because Marvel has the creative control, but you feel that Sony touch because they've got the marketing control. And I think you're right. I think Marvel would have been more coy if it was their film.